Perfect. Perfect. Alrighty. Going live. We're doing things. Live.
We're doing things. Oh, talk to that. No, talk to Nixie. I'm gonna just keep talking to the Nixie.
Talk to this. Anyway, so we're going to start doing these little like video spiels strictly for the video side of it.
Behind the scenes, guys.
It's like half behind the scenes and half like no one listening to the podcast cares the explanation of, again, still messy background.
Yeah.
Still in the middle of moving.
Like when you listen to a live podcast and the people in the audience are laughing at something and you're like, I can't see it.
Yeah, and it annoys me. So we didn't want to do that. So we can do any video shit.
This is just for you guys.
It's just for the people watching.
Let's see. What do we got in the background? I feel like we should have like a scavenger hunt.
I spied
tell me.
With my little eye, the picture of me in Scotland.
I see it.
You see it? Ready? Right there.
This is a fun game.
Yeah, no, this used to be covered in all of my craft and art supplies, and half of it is now moved to the new house in boxes. Half of it has not been packed yet.
Slowly but
surely. We are in the final stages. Actually,
in the final throes.
We're in the final throes. Next weekend, we were actually like getting the moving truck and moving everything because we're finishing up the backsplash today.
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
Whereas I just would really like a walking washer machine and my fence up.
The reason we keep recording here is because Grace is using our washer and dryer.
Yay! It's coming. Hopefully this week. It's happening. Along with our bazillion-dollar fence.
And you guys see the bonus also when watching this is you get this.
Can you see it? This is a fun game too. Guys, I'm going to get real comfortable being annoying on the camera. I apologize.
You need more time getting
I'm going to do this.
On the camera?
I'm going to do this the whole podcast. It's like, what's the name of the painting with the apple?
I know the one you're talking about. I just went to the name of it.
I'm that one now. That's okay. The apple one.
You guys, art history was the worst class that I had to take for my major because I'm bad with names and dates and shit. And that's basically all art history is.
Yeah, that's all any history class is. I'm really good at knowing what the stuff is, but like, don't tell me. I know it's like around.
I'm fine with like history courses when they're not giving you a multiple choice of what year did this happen in, and the 4 options are all 1 year apart from each other.
Yeah, I know.
Fuck that shit.
Look, if something happened 500 years ago, if you're off by like 40 years, it's fine.
Which is a history I enjoy.
Yeah.
Ancient history. I'm basically Daniel.
No one's gonna know if you're off 100 years.
Exactly.
I mean, I wouldn't know.
This is why I enjoy ancient history, because I don't do numbers. Why I'm not a science major.
Ta-da! Numbers are hard. I have a statistics test that I didn't know about in 2 days.
I'm done with that.
This is gonna be good times.
See, this is the fun things that you're gonna get on the videos that you're not gonna get
just
on the podcast.
We're warming up here.
We're warming up. We're still playing with this. We're feeling it out. We'll get it more, precise and refined as we go.
Learn how to speak to a camera or look into a camera. Because I'm like, am I supposed to do this? Am I supposed to? I'm like channeling my inner anchor.
Oh yeah.
Like
I have no inner anchor.
My inner Michelle.
I have no inner anchor.
I don't think I do.
There's a reason we're not on camera.
Yeah, that's why we're behind the scenes
normally, and yet camera. Okay,
ready?
We're gonna start.
Here we go.
Ready? Wait, 120?
120.
See, Kaylee's gonna get all her bucks out here. This is refined. You can see her in the background. Look at how I'm gonna point over.
Oh, there she is.
Yeah.
Find the Kaylee.
Hey, go out there and bark.
Okay.
Or don't bark. Go.
Yep, episode
Again, see, when the video is going to be completely unedited, whereas on the podcast, those will be edited out by Grace. On the video, those will be here. Kaylee, hush!
We're doing it!
That worked. That normally doesn't work. She barks when the dogs pass, and she can't see them, so she gets annoyed. Alrighty. Are you going to bark again?
She cried.
Nope, she's with her toy. Okay, ready? We're going to start now.
Yep, 120.
This is the fun you get on the video. Welcome to There's No Place Like Terra, a Stargate First Watch Rewatch podcast. I am Nixie.
And I'm Grace, and today we're going over Season 6, Episode 10, Cure, a.k.a. Fry in the Slurm Factory, a.k.a. Jonas and the Teal'c Factory. Because that is all I can think of.
A.k.a. Soylent violet is gold.
So
it's not green. It's kind of a
violet
violet
color. It is violet.
Yeah.
Or lavendery. Soylent lavender. Does it?
Soylent
lavender sounds like something you pick up at like a hipster market.
Yes.
Here's some soylent lavender to go with
You're gonna burn it.
I don't know. Yeah.
You're gonna burn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna burn.
After you sage your house, you soylent
lavender it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like it. I'm gonna write that down.
So this episode first aired. Oh, by the way, before we get into the episode, I want to apologize.
Oh boy.
Well, listen, I normally try to be really on top of my game, like when doing the notes. But again, because of, and you can see from or you've heard from, we're still undergoing the move that seems like will never end. It's going to move in a couple weeks, but I haven't had the amount of time to super dedicate to the note taking as I normally do. So I missed it for crying out loud last week. And I missed that Ragnar did not just burn off his tattoo because he felt like it. His dad did it, which I know clearly, I've been off the game past
couple weeks. So the good news is I don't know any of those things. So to me, you did
hear Ragnar, we covered the episode where Ragnar was like, "Yeah, my dad did that, yo."
But also, I don't remember.
You don't retain any knowledge.
I barely remember the episodes in my top 5. I'm like, which one's that one?
Forget that one too.
Which one's that one? Why did I like it so much? Somebody tell me.
Tell me why I like this. So, yeah.
But don't ask me Gilmore Girls questions. Because I'll be like, actually, I will grace-explain you.
Let me push my glasses up in my nose. Actually,
let me grace-explain this at you, and then pick a topic.
And then so soon the move will be done. Soon I'll be able to commit as much time as I normally do to the note-taking. It's just been a crazy month. Month is almost over.
But we love you guys.
We love you and thank you all. And I really thank you because the people who sent in those little notes did not how dare you?
It's always very kind.
They were very kind, which I greatly appreciate, and I am really, truly sorry.
Thank you for your kindness and your patience.
Yes. Okay, so August 16th, 2002 is when this episode first aired.
Done.
Written by Damon Kindler, directed by Andy Mitka.
August 2002, I was probably on a work tour somewhere being a punk-ass kid.
August 2002, I think, at that point, I was either on my way or arriving to college.
Oh.
To my first,
I was, just unavailable to anybody.
The most naive square freshman that's ever set foot on college before, a college campus. Just fresh-faced and nerd. Just, I don't think I talked to anyone for a solid week.
I was doing the whole, I'm going to a show. I'll be back later. And later meant the next day sometime. Let's not talk about that anymore.
Okay, so we have 2 guest stars in this episode. Allison Hosick, which I, again, butchered name. I apologize because Allison's awesome. We will see her again in a very brief, yet very memorable role on Stargate Atlantis.
Who does she play? Is that Zena?
Yes, that's Zena.
Because I'm there's only 2 female stars.
There's only, but she plays a very small but very memorable, great character in an episode in the first season of Atlantis.
Prediction.
Yes,
she's an actual small person.
She's an actual not Tinkerbell height.
Yeah, I can hold her in my hand.
Okay.
She's an alien race of people that I can hold in my hand.
We'll see. I'm gonna take a sip of.
That's my prediction.
That was disturbing on the microphone, I'm sure. And then Gwyneth Walsh, who. Well, I don't know technically we don't know her host's name.
Oh.
She plays the host that is never named.
Yeah. The one who's got an Alex Kingston vibe to her.
She's a very Alex Kingston vibe, which I dig.
Yeah.
But she's Kelma and later Egeria. She's mostly unrecognizable for her. No, she's recognizable here. What I'm saying is she's mostly unrecognizable for her most well-known role in sci-fi circles. I guarantee you've already seen her in your Star Trek rewatch as one of the Dura sisters She's
I don't know what that is.
B'Etor, like the two Klingon sisters with like their boobs like all out.
I think I have. I think I do know what that is.
She's one of the two sisters.
She's cool.
Uh-huh.
She just got way cooler.
She's awesome.
I dig her. I'm gonna write
Lursa
her
and
name down.
B'Etor.
What was her name again?
Gwyneth Welsh, but written in the most Welshian way that you've possibly written anything in Welsh.
Gwyn the Walsh is what my iPad decided her name is.
It's Gwyn the
Walsh.
Yeah, Gwyn the Walsh. Mm-hmm. That's completely accurate.
Good job. I'm
as to her name.
Imagine my life trying to do homework on this thing.
So can I just say my spell check on my tablet where I write my notes? Spell checks to like all it knows now is Stargate names and Stargate terms.
Mine knows how to spell gold and Tok'ra.
It knows how to spell both of those. Like I was doing something else and it spell checked and it was like one word in one episode and it was like
it's so eager.
My Stargate is my iPad is a huge Stargate fan, guys.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I know this word. I've been here before.
I've been here. When you're actually trying to spell like a real world word that has nothing to do with Stargate.
Yeah.
We arrive on Pangar.
Oh, that's the name of this planet.
Yeah, because they're the Pangarians.
I knew that.
Mm-hmm. With its rolling fields and its archaeological digs, and everyone is waiting for SG-1 to arrive, and we meet Dolan and Commander Tok'ra.
Yes.
And this is a first contact situation. This is the first time anyone on the planet is meeting an alien. Mm-hmm. Alien in quotation marks. Alien, which I find interesting considering what they do to Egeria. Like,
right.
Like you had first contact, and you know that is not something from your planet.
Yeah.
This is not your first contact.
Maybe they mean with these aliens?
With like humanoids. Mm-hmm. So and they might be a civilization, and we'll cover this because it's a very sort of the main issue of the episode. Maybe this is a society that doesn't consider something that is not humanoid as necessarily a life form.
That's true. I mean, I don't think that they would so easily do what they did. If it were a humanoid that they
were in a host body. Yeah. Even if it was Egeria, but like in a host body in the sarcophagus, they wouldn't be doing all this. Then again, also Egeria would be able to communicate with them, but that's a whole other thing.
She'd be like, "Stop it, dickheads." I mean, that's what I would say.
Basically, fuck off. But they are, I'm gonna kill his name. I keep lost it. Dolan and Tok'ra. Thank you. Tok'ra is on high alert. For some reason, I keep going Tigger. Tigger. The wonderful thing about Tiggers is Tiggers are wonderful things. Okay, so Commander Tok'ra is on high alert. He's concerned about how much of a risk SG-1 or Earthlings or Tauri or whatever you want to call us will pose, which is, I think, how aliens would be received here on Earth. They're like...
He's a little nervous, yeah. It's a little dog approaching a different person. I don't know about you.
His ears are down.
Yeah.
He's crouched low. His tail is tucked under.
Yeah. A little uncomfortable. A little nervous. But also there's a little bit of a blind date feeling too. Like this could be great things.
Yeah. There's some data going on later.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Dolan is, I'm glad you picked that up later, because Dolan is basically the opposite. He's super relieved. Like, they found proof of inhabited planets, in their ruins, and they're now getting to meet him. He's sort of, I love that they have the two viewpoints that are going against each other.
Yeah, the very optimistic versus,
not pessimistic.
No, cynical.
Cynical, yeah.
Yeah, the cynical versus the optimistic approach.
So SG-1 arrives, the most well-respected team of representatives, which is led by their most brilliant and savvy negotiator, and Dolan can't wait to meet a person of such genius, naturally, Colonel Jack O'Neill. 2 L's.
Howdy, folks. Let's just go with that for a second.
Howdy, folks.
What would be my first word? What would be your first words to an alien race?
Am I the alien race arriving like Jack is?
Yeah.
Or am I...
what would be your howdy, folks?
Well, it depends on how I'm approaching the situation.
Okay.
There is a part of me that would want to make the bad joke of take me to your leader. But also that would be not the best option.
Right.
I would, to be fair, I might also, see, That would be, and me going to another planet for this time, I would just duplicate Neil Armstrong. But that's a different situation.
Okay.
Me being the first contact aliens in another planet is meeting for the first time. Could I do, see, that's also not a good option. I want to do, like, the Rick and Morty
Peace Among
Worlds. And
I thought about that.
Like, middle finger, Peace Among, part of me would like to see if I could make that start as a thing.
Yeah.
Peace Among Worlds, middle finger.
I'm trying to think of what I would do.
It means peace.
Among worlds.
Uh-huh.
You know what's funny is I was like, I'm gonna ask this question and then never thought of my own answer.
That's the
Maybe
best
I would just
way.
be like, play ball. Or just, teach them to say go Giants.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Go Giants is it's the handshake. It is Go Giants is the the hello, how are you doing of the planet Earth.
Boom.
Yeah.
Or it could just be like, sup, bro.
You just do the Hawaiian
Is this the shaka?
Yeah. So
channel my inner Jason Momoa.
There you go.
I'll take that.
Jason Momoa. Back in the city, and before they even get a tour of the city, which does have a vaguely like Japanese, maybe Asian architecture vibe, at least in this one room, nothing else does. Just this one room.
The white exterior, which I don't think we've gotten to yet, so I'll hold.
No, we don't.
Yeah,
we haven't.
But it's got a bit more of like a Victorian.
Yeah, it's a very mixed, because I think they
just did not have a good decorator. They're all over the place.
Drug building, as I call it, for lack of something else, is
the
clearly
Slurm factory.
The Slurm, there you go. Slurm factory is very much, we found a factory in town.
Yeah.
But before they even can get down to business to defeat
the Huns. No, we won't get through this episode.
Down to business to defeat the Huns. Okay, they have to actually discuss.
Okay, I'm done.
They have to discuss their mutual interests first. So everyone sits down and they cover how startling it was to get a melt through the Stargate when you don't know about life on other planets or what the hell a Stargate does, which can be, that was a day that will live in infamy. And the Pagarans, were able to tell from the temple that they found the Stargate in that it was part of an interplanetary network, but they couldn't really figure out how to make it work.
Yeah, I wrote blah, 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 Stargate travel.
Basically, that's the conversation as I had. So once the Tal'ri get to know them better, they have to go on a few dates first.
Yeah, sure. You gotta feel things out.
Feel the situation
out. See what's going on.
They're like, look, we can help you get to know us. We can give you our Tinder profile. You can have full access to our citizens, our history, anything you want.
Yeah.
Oh, also, we have this miracle drug called tritonin, which is our greatest scientific discovery.
It looks strangely like lavender water.
It looks like, yes.
But it's totally a thing that's a thing that you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Words.
That's
all I got.
We don't. So he's like, look, I heard about how Earth suffers from illness and a whole bunch of things that are untreatable, and tritonin makes your immune system impervious to anything. So everyone,
that's never a good sign.
Which is not everyone. Everyone, not actually everyone,
except
on Pangar
we like,
is in perfect health.
Yeah, that's totally believable and not a big deal at all. Totally a normal thing. Let's not question how any of this works at all. Let's just take it and run with it.
And credits. So when we come back, Teal'c and Jonas, can we come up with like a name for Teal'c and Jonas?
Yeah, I was thinking of that too, because they are like a fun little duo.
They've been a fun little duo for a while now.
And they've got especially a couple of things going. I thought I had one. Come back to me.
Okay, well, we'll have enough time talking about Teal'c and Jonas together that you'll be able to come up with one at some point. Teal'c has no clue, basically, why they're out here.
John Teal'c? It's hard with that apostrophe C.
Yeah.
Tealness?
Tealness.
Tealness. It sounds like a bad word.
Tealness.
Your tealness is showing.
Jonilk?
Teal'c.
If you can come up, guys, here's your homework for this episode. Come up with a good combo name
Teal'c.
Teal'c.
Not that one. That sounds like a dirty joke, or like a dirty thing on a body part.
Something, yeah. If you can come up with a good name for Teal'c and Jonas combined, and maybe it doesn't, it could be not necessarily the name.
Maybe it's
dynamic duo is already taken.
Yeah.
But
Ebony and Ivory is also already taken.
Do not do Ebony and Ivory. Do not give us that as an
or
option.
Ivory and Ivory.
Either one.
I said Ivory and Ivory.
Only one of us is drinking, and it is not you. I may have spiked the rest of my coffee with some SoCo.
I'm just tired.
So Teal'c has no clue why they're out here, and Xena calls over the Earthens.
Yeah.
And to paraphrase Luke Skywalker, everything you just said is wrong.
Yeah. I like that.
And the interaction about how they're not really from Earth, but have dedicated themselves to Earth is hilarious.
The two people she calls Earthens. Maybe that's what maybe she just made up a new word for people who are of Earth but not from Earth.
There you go. They're Earthens.
You're an Earthen. You're not an
Earthling. You're an Earthen.
Done. She's like, I totally did that on purpose with my fancy pants. Which, by the way, I love her outfit.
Seriously, I just want to steal her outfit. Also, her tent.
Oh yeah.
I'll just want to everything.
Look, things happen in tents in Stargate.
Yeah, we learned anything in Origins.
Yeah, the only thing we learned in Origins.
To be fair, also Daniel and Slurm. Well, no, that was in it too, but probably in a tent later.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love how Xena is super excited about how much more Teal'c and Jonas can teach her, and Jonas is like, I mean,
in my pants.
Yeah. And her and Jonas basically have like an adorable smile off.
Yeah. Like, no, my smile's more adorable. No, actually, mine's pretty adorable.
Mine's
too.
More full of sunshine.
Yeah, I'm sunshine.
I am actually a sunshine.
I am just a beam of the sun.
I'm a whole rainbow.
Taken from its mother.
At an early age. And then she starts to give them a tour of the dig site. And apparently they discovered these ruins over 100 years ago. And they've been studying them since. And the real discovery was made recently, but we don't get to hear about that yet. Also, we get an idea there. An idea? An indeed is what I meant.
Oh, I was like, what do you mean an idea?
No, we get an indeed.
This is the part that I like. This is where she's like, oh, we don't know what this means. And Teal'c's like, I know what this means.
Oh, that's right later.
Oh, okay.
They're walking over it.
This is where we get, I know where we are. Mm-hmm. This is where we get the fucking awkward pan that goes in front of a rock. And then it's just a rock for a while. And then there's a dude with a brush.
Yeah.
Awkward.
Yeah.
I love it, but it's awkward.
It's so awkward, it's charming.
It's like, oh, look, a styrofoam rock in the shot.
Well, to be fair, that might be an actual rock. They are on location.
Okay.
Fine. So the other half of SG-1 is still chatting with Dolan and Tagar about the Tritonin, and they admit it does have some side effects, but let's not discuss this here. We're going to put them in very fine print at the bottom of the commercial drug ad. Yeah. It sort of depends.
With the micro machine guys talking over it.
Yeah.
Like, this could cause bleeding, diarrhea, or your mom
death.
Face fall off.
It could cause death. Yeah. And the death of your dog.
Are you suffering from death?
And it sort of depends on the person who takes it as to what the side effects are, because that's a great thing.
Sure.
But most people are fine. They just require regular doses of Tritonin.
Yeah, you're just addicted to it.
You're just, it's literally, it becomes, it's just
you just become
insulin.
Dependent on it. No big deal. It's not opioids. No. Let's not talk about that.
No, it's more of an insulin.
Yeah.
You need it to survive. It just...
Sure. Yeah.
So I'm sure the FDA would have a field day with this thing back on Earth, which you can imagine. And Tagar wants to ensure that, like, look, if we give this to you, we get something back, right? And here's 10 addresses. 10 gate addresses. They're fresh. They're ready to go. All are peaceful, ready for some trade. Here's an IKEA guide of how to use the Stargate. You'll be fine. And the Pangarans think that's great, and that's generous for all. But really, we've been studying the writings on the temple. And we have a very specific list of gates, addresses.
We want to go to all the places we're not allowed to go.
Mm-hmm.
Can we go there, please?
Because they give the list, and Sam's like, those, I recognize these 3, and those are all like Gould homeworlds and classified no.
So no, you can't do that.
They're classified as fuck no is basically how the specific categorization goes.
In this conversation, I'm surprised that Jack's not meaner, that he's as cool as he is. He's like, are you fucking kidding me right now?
Well, he's also a little bit of like, well, I mean, if you want to go get yourself killed,
so
you
have
can,
fun. Yeah.
But you probably don't want to.
It's like the novice of anything going, I'm going to do the expert level of whatever this is. And the
expert's going,
no. Okay, have fun.
Sure, have fun. You'll learn your lesson with your life.
Yeah. Ta-da! Sucks to be you.
Tok'ra doesn't care how dangerous they're. Like, these are the worlds we want to study. I don't care if it's Gould.
I want to make a wedding dress as my first project. What's wrong with that?
Why are you looking at me when you say that?
Because I can. Because it's fun.
But
making a pillow, guys. A pillow.
I'm not making my own wedding dress. I'm actually not.
No.
I'm just making all of the flowers and everything else.
I mean, you have to save something for someone else to make.
No, I want to make it all myself. And Tok'ra's like, no, these planets are significant to our history.
Because reasons.
That you'll find out later.
Yeah. Nothing to hide here.
He's like, you guys went and you survived, so why can't we go? And if you want the Tritonin, you're going to have to respect our wishes on this.
Yeah.
Mic drop.
Super shitty. Super shitty.
And so we go back to Teal'c and Jonas and Senna, still giving a tour, and they head into what is a former escape tunnel that leads into the main temple as a convenient way for us to transfer from a location shooting to a sound studio, which I'm all for.
Yeah.
It's a very great way to do it.
I think actually this is where we get the weird rock.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where I'm like, okay, weird rock, got it.
And inside the writing is on the wall, and it tells the story, literally, of the Gould who used to rule here, and they've been trying to translate one part of it for months without success, but that's because I didn't have a Teal'c.
Or a Jonas, for that
Or a Jonas. Yeah. And they're just like, oh, it says this.
Yeah.
It's apparently an account of the warlord Shakran. Sorry, Shakran.
I'm not going to know any of these names because I didn't write any of them out.
Well, he was defeated by Apophis 300 years ago, which I'm like, if he was defeated 300 years ago, so it's probably only been a couple hundred years since 300, maybe 400 since he's been on this planet. They've done a fuck ton of progress in a few hundred years.
Yeah, all of a sudden.
Yeah.
That's true. I was just stuck on the fact that Teal'c and Jonas know everything, and so then I started imagining how much fun it would be to take them on a trivia night.
It has to be a very specific, although to be fair, we do know Teal'c could be really good at a Star Wars trivia night.
He'd be pretty good at a lot of things. I feel like it'd be like, Jonas, just study all pop culture.
Well, and he could have it done in like a weekend.
Yeah. Can you just do that now and we'll be there on Tuesday?
I'm actually more curious to know what Teal'c thought of the prequels.
I think he would not be a fan of Jar Jar. Only because he would find him insufferable.
He would, and he wouldn't be a fan of Anakin either, because Anakin had no honor.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true. But he would...
Big fan of Obi.
He'd even be like, I understand the idea of the clones. It's not a bad army. Respect.
Yeah, because essentially they are the clone warrior. They are the clone troops of Stargate. Or of Star Wars.
Yeah.
The Jaffa are the clone troopers of Stargate.
If Jaffa is to Stargate as clones is to Star Wars.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Basically.
Boom.
Boom.
Take that, SATs.
Mic drop. It's the second mic drop this episode. There may be more. You never know.
Throwing mics all over the place.
I don't think I've ever mic dropped on this podcast before.
I'm happy
I have no mic. I have nothing. Well, no, we do have a mic. I'm recording into a mic. We're not going to drop that. Anyway, so and there's also we had an Indeed earlier, and we have an Indeed here, and he Indeeds and then stops and continues talking. So can we count that as an Indeed or no?
I think so. If it comes out of his mouth, it's an Indeed.
Well, but not if it's in the middle of a sentence.
But he Indeeded.
He did Indeed, and there was a pause, and then so it's 2 Indeeds in this episode.
Yeah, I'll take it.
So apparently, Teal'c is very happy to announce that Apophis is now dead.
Yeah.
Very proud of that fact.
I killed all the people.
And as soon as the last guards leave the temples, and it's like, hey, yo, that's awesome and all, but like, don't trust that Tritonin shit.
Yeah.
And then the guards come back, like, and we're walking.
And nothing happened. Everything's fine. What? Nothing's weird going on. Yeah.
We're all good. We're walking. No. Look at our pretty fresco.
Yeah.
Also, I tried to look up that if Chakron was inspired by an actual deity, and I don't know if I'm just spelling it completely wrong, which very well could be true. I couldn't find anything. I tried a couple different spellings. It could be one of those things that's spelled completely not like I was trying to type it in.
For no reason at all, reminded me of our friend Shaka. And I was like, oh, what happened to him? Remember Shaka?
Chakron is actually inspired by Shakira.
Yeah. Its hips never lied.
Yes, he was well known for his hips.
His honest hips. Like Honest Abe. Mm-hmm. It was Honest Chakron, but instead of cutting down a cherry tree, he just shook his hips. I don't know where this is going.
We're gonna move on.
Yeah.
False history brought to you by Stargate.
Ta-da!
So sometime later, the whole team is walking through the same dig site, and Jonas and Teal'c basically pass on what Xena said. Mm-hmm. They're gonna stay here, dig for info on that. Jack and Sam will get the Tritonin sample back to the SGC for Janet, and the security guards lurk in the background during all this.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah.
So Jonas goes and tries to get some information out with his charm, which almost works. Not really. He brought some ciphers that he was talking about before and was like, oh, look, we're alone now. And he
goes all Tiffany on her. Doesn't seem to be anyone around. And she's like, I really don't dig any 80s music. Yeah. I know you were around then and you were super popular amongst the kids.
Can we just translate this well? Because I don't know what you're trying to get to right now.
Can you stop dancing? Just stop dancing. Just stop.
Jonas just keeps on dancing.
He's like, doesn't be anyone. I don't know. I think we're alone. I think there was an actual dance to that, but I don't remember.
I don't know what it was at all. And she's like, and Jonas goes, well, you said there was something that we needed to know. And Xena's like, no, think you misunderstood.
Yeah.
And she's like trying to wink.
Like, no. She's like, cut it off now. Don't say any more words.
She's like shaking her head, but like nodding at this, doing that movement.
It's the whole like, look, this was a secret. Stop talking out loud in front of people.
He's like, well, Teal'c standing guard, we're completely alone, you can talk freely. But she's like, I have nothing to say, and like runs off and runs past Teal'c up standing guard.
I love that. That's a good way to just Napoleon Dynamite and just run out of the room.
Listen, when it gets awkward and you don't know what to say, just leave.
I gotta go now.
Just
Smoke
leave.
Bomb.
So Jonas heads back up to meet Teal'c and is like, that was strange. Someone must have gotten to her. And at some point later, Teal'c and Jonas are still observing and watching
starting
the
an detective agency.
Yeah.
Now when they do this, I think of when Picard goes into the holodeck into the 1940s. They're like, it's time for another, and they put on their fedoras.
I love
Teal'c and Jonas Detective Agency.
You make the Star Trek references. It makes me so happy. Because I'm not the only one anymore.
I was taking notes last night, and it was very late when I was taking these notes because I was watching a baseball game that went 13 innings on the West Coast. So poor boyfriend Jesse's sleeping, and I'm like, hey, what's the name of Picard when he goes in the holodeck with the fedora? And he goes, are you kidding me right now? No, never mind.
I just love the idea that you wake him up to ask that.
Well, it's important.
Would have been even funnier if he gives you the answer like while half asleep.
That would have been great. Normally he would have.
I actually just don't remember his name.
I think yesterday he was just tired of me yelling every time someone hit or didn't hit the ball. So basically just yelling.
Did the Giants win though?
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Walk off.
Because to be fair,
Homer.
To be fair, otherwise you would not be referring to the game in any way.
I would be like, we don't talk about what happened yesterday.
The game never happened.
Yeah, exactly.
So Teal'c standing guard and gives Jonas a nod, who heads into the tent, and it's a very sort of standard, romantic, old school archaeological tent with some research, and there's some translations, and he scans a few books.
All those romantical things, which actually to me would be a little bit romantic.
Super romantic.
Forget your roses petals and
Just
all that other
books.
stuff. Books and maps.
Books and maps and books and maps and books and maps and books and maps.
I like it.
So back outside, Teal'c is still sitting guard, and he runs out and is like, yeah, she's on Tritonin and gets regular appointments. And
she's on some shit.
She's on some shit. And I'm pretty sure I find out where the shop building is, where the Slurm factory is.
Yeah.
So, and as they leave, we see that Xena watched all of this happen.
She's like, yes, my
finally
plan is working.
So Teal'c and Jonas sneak into the Slurm building, and it's
Sneaky Jonas
super
and Guard Teal'c.
Huh?
Is what I call them.
What do you
Sneaky Jonas?
Yeah.
And Guard Teal'c. That's their names in this. Yeah.
Okay.
There's specifics.
But it's a super blue shot. I'm guessing to hide that it's a day for night shot, but it's like super blue.
Yeah, yeah.
All you got is the blue filter out of the
and to me,
RGB.
It was like fun with alchemy.
Yeah.
That's what this one looked like.
Oh, yeah. It's all very mad scientist-y.
Yeah.
And eventually they'll walk out into a walkway, and there's a huge tank
filled
with gold symbiotes.
It's where the Joker came out of.
It is. It's how you made the Joker.
This also reminds me of, remember when we were little and Sesame Street would do the How Things Are Made segments? And there was like these factory shots. Like I remember there was one where they made peanut butter. And they show you the peanuts going into this big thing. Yeah. And then it mashes them down. And then you would travel through the factory. It's basically one of those episodes.
See, the one that I remember that's the most memorable for me was actually for Mr. Rogers, and it's the crayon factory.
I remember the crayons.
Yes, because I remember that shot of like all the colored crayons coming down to the thing.
And then they wrap them in their
And then they wrap them, but they have like the big colored soup.
Yes.
Before, that's the one I remember more. I remember a lot more Mr. Rogers than I do Sesame
Well,
Street.
Maybe it was from Mr. Rogers, honestly, because I would watch them back to back.
Yeah.
But
as most people do.
So it was one of those two PBS.
And mine went right and then to Shining Time Station.
Oh, that might have been after my time.
Also, to be fair, it may not necessarily have been after your time. It may have just because I was on the Canadian border and it's a Canadian show.
Yeah.
It's the same as like the Elephant Show.
Okay.
But that became a little more, I think,
some of those I just know by the names. Like, but not by the names, by the songs.
Raise the ring, I love you.
I love you in the morning. I do know that one.
Yeah, that was
Shining Time Station.
No, that's the Elephant Show.
Got it. I do remember today's special, which nobody in the world seems to remember.
Shining Time Station was the one. It was in a train station, and sometimes like you went. It had Beetle.
Bingo.
Yes, thank you. I was like Star, and for some reason I didn't then get his first name. He was in that one because you go inside the radio and there's an actual like mini little band in there.
I do remember that.
Yeah, that was Shining Time Station.
So I remember that, but it was more of a Mr. Rogers and Sesame Street person.
Yeah.
A little bit of Grace trivia. The reason I picked the college I did, like the ultimate clincher, was because Mr. Rogers went there.
I mean, that's a legit reason.
And
to be fair, Schultz, who founded Starbucks, went to my college.
Nice.
So I got coffee.
I got Mr. Rogers, the coolest, not
he is pretty
CIA agent. Although, isn't that like the best line?
To be fair, somehow I can kind of also see him as a CIA agent.
I feel like that would have been so cool.
It's like the ultimate cover.
The ultimate double life. Done.
Anyways, we have gold soup.
Yes.
It's just a.
That's where we were.
Yeah, we're gold soup. And the alarms start going off because the guards find them. And Teal'c can handle them just fine. But there's this one guard who goes to tackle Jonas and just purposely dives at Jonas in a way that, of course, they're going to fall off.
He just charges them. Yeah, he just full on charge.
So they both fall into the gold soup.
Yay.
And Teal'c,
creepy tank water.
And he's like, help Teal'c. And he starts running down there. And the symbiote is heading directly towards them.
Yeah.
Teal'c grabs Jonas and drags him out in time, but the guy who went with him goes under the water.
Yeah.
When they finally get him out, he has an entry, a symbiote entry spot on the back of his neck. And
gave me the chills.
Yeah, and as Teal'c raises his weapon, all the guards point their weapons at Teal'c instead. And the new ghoul does not wake up and try to kill anyone.
Huh.
Dun dun dun!
Something is wrong.
Something's not right.
Yeah.
So back in the city center, Tok'ra is like, so why were you at our Slurm factory? And Jack's like, better fucking question. Why do you have gold soup?
Why did your Oompa Loompas attack our dude?
Exactly.
And throw them into the chocolate river.
I mean, he wouldn't have just gone swimming in the chocolate river in his own regard.
Yeah. Jonas is too pretty to throw himself into creepy waters that could ruin his beautiful skin.
He would, however, take a blueberry candy.
Yeah.
He would.
Or is he more of a Mike TV?
No, I can see him do the blueberry candy first.
Yeah.
I
bet I would do the blueberry candy too. I could do that right now. That might be fun for a little while. Just roll me down the street.
The dogs will go crazy.
Yeah.
And apparently, this Gould soup is a critical component to making trittonin. And Sam goes, "Come again for big fun."
I feel like I was waiting for one of them to be like, "I knew it!" But there's the other shoe.
It's one of those things I'm like, who the hell would have even assumed that this was one of the components to making trittonin?
Ugh. Yeah.
Dylan's like, look, our scientists can explain the sciencey shit better. But, I mean, eventually we're going to tell you, but we needed to know how you'd react first. The answer is not well.
Yeah. Yikes. Maybe it would have been better. No, I don't know.
There's no good way of breaking that news.
Welcome to blah, blah, blah land. We take Gould and squeeze out their juices, and then we make a soup that we drink out of it.
Would you like some?
It's delicious and purple.
So
it tastes like grape soda.
To be fair, grape soda is disgusting.
Really? I love it.
Anything artificially grape flavored is disgusting. To be fair, I also don't like red grapes.
I like all the things.
So I only like golden raisins.
I'm sad for you.
And yet, the only good thing red grapes give us is wine. Done.
Wine.
And what's funny is I prefer that over white wine. I'm
so
weird.
If dogs can't have raisins, can they not have wine?
I don't know, because is the wine necessarily made with the skins of the raisins? Or the fruits?
I mean, you crush everything.
Because technically, if you peel the skin off a grape, a dog can have it.
Yeah.
They just can't have the skin of the grape.
I'm happy for dogs that they can have wine. Not that they should. Don't feed your dogs wine.
Don't feed your dogs wine. So, I mean, Tok'ra doesn't get what the big deal is. You said the Gould are your mortal enemies and they enslaved humans, so why can't we use them to enhance our quality of life? And we've been doing this for like 30 years. We take every precaution. We're fine. No big deal.
Bad plus bad does not equal good.
But I mean, it's not. They're bad people. They're bad guys.
Nah.
We're fine. And Jack wants to know where the symbiotes came from. You don't have gate travel, and yet you are overflowing with Gould.
Yeah.
You have a wealth of Gould.
This is one of those where he's going to think back and be like, I wish I'd never asked.
Yeah,
you can't unsee what you're about to see, Jack. And brace yourself.
No, you can't. And Teal'c is very passionate about the fact that, like, no more gate knowledge until you tell us info.
Yeah. Bro, this is no good.
This is not cool.
Good things.
And, well, Tok'ra doesn't want to reveal any more secrets. Dolan's like, yeah, we'll just tell you everything.
I feel like he's the guy who's like, oh, thank God, I've been wanting to share this forever.
Yeah.
I feel like shit about it. Here, you carry this now.
So back at the Slurm factory where the drug is developed, manufactured, and administered, there's more treatment facilities around the planet. Don't worry if you can't make it to the main Slurm factory. We have satellite offices.
Sure. Yeah.
And the symbiotes, like, they were not acquired through the gates. They head through a door. They are bred in captivity.
Ta-da!
And they're faced with a room with a little bit tiny tank and a big old fat Gould queen.
Like, I can only imagine she's going, kill me.
Kill me. Like, it looks like a baby hut.
Yeah, it looks like a baby vomit is what it looks like. I feel so bad for her. And I feel like that's not what she's supposed to look like either.
Mm-mm.
Like, she was probably sprightly and squiggly at some point in her life.
She's just fat with mini steaks.
Yeah. And she's just like, I can't anymore.
She's just fat with tadpoles.
Oh.
Yeah.
She is like the Slurm factory. Where they
and it's like this disgusting colored old water. Like, they don't change her tank very often.
They don't treat her very nice at all.
No. So somewhere else, we have the Gould who got implanted, and he's on a table, and he's fairly vegetable-like looking. And it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't look good.
It doesn't look good. He's basically just a human case.
Now. Yeah. Empty human shell.
He is a blank computer.
A candy-coated human M&M.
A human-coated M&M?
I don't know. Maybe.
This analogy is not working.
Coated. I'm going to stop.
And Teal'c explains that apparently prior to using Jaffa to incubate symbiotes, blending between a Gould and a host was more of a risk. It was only like, it was a 50-50 shot as to whether the implantation would work.
Yeah, I had a little bit of a hard time. Well, a lot of it. I had a hard time following the logic throughout this section.
So, apparently, the reason the Jaffa were created, essentially, why humans were modified to carry the symbiotes in their little kangaroo pouch, is because when they were like nurtured there, when they grew up inside the little kangaroo pouch,
they blended better.
There was better odds of a successful blending because if blending went bad, the Gould and the host would die.
Right.
So you had a 50-50 shot of dying.
So it's like rejecting an organ.
It's like exactly like rejecting an organ. So raising the baby Gould inside the Jaffa basically caused the rejection rate to go down massively.
Because it was more familiar.
Practically to zero, I'm assuming. Yeah.
I'm with you.
And Sam is guessing that the coma is because the Gould was raised in a tank. And Teal'c's like, I mean, it used to cause death, not coma, so I have no clue.
Yeah.
And funnily enough, Dolan and his people actually assume that this vegetable is what happened when you got implanted with the Gould, because that's...
Oh, it's not supposed to break the human completely?
Yeah.
Oh, we just figured this is how it works.
Teal'c's like, no.
No.
That's not what normally happens.
I love when you discover things like that. It's like, oh, my life isn't supposed to be this difficult when I do this thing? Sweet. Good to know.
And Sam recommends that they contract the Tok'ra at this point, and then have to explain the Tok'ra to the Pangerans, and you get an eye roll from Jack. Which I found awesome.
This is where I wrote, cue the Tok'ra!
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah.
The Tok'ra come like riding in on some like unicorn or Pegasus
Somebody
or something.
call for a Tok'ra, and they're like, Zap Brannigan pose.
Oh yeah, Zap totally, because their outfits sometimes are a little Zap Brannigan.
Or
just remove the cuts.
Zap Brannigan and Troy McClure. Like, we're the Tok'ra.
To be fair,
you may know us from things such as
being assholes.
Joel and Arn's memories.
They do kind of have the same arrogance level as Zap Brannigan.
Yeah, that's true.
Basically, it's just the color palette and the pants.
So basically, this episode of Stargate is the Futurama episode of Stargate.
It is, aka Futurama.
AKA the Futurama references of Stargate.
Before was Futurama on in 2002? I remember watching it in college, but I couldn't remember when it actually started.
I want to say yes, but keep talking.
Okay, you looked it up, and I'm going to talk about how Jonas goes to visit Xena, and he's like, "So we found the Tritonin building."
99.
Yeah. Okay. So this is literally they're just flat out referencing.
Yes.
Subconsciously, I doubt it's on purpose, but they are just flat out subconsciously referencing Futurama. God, forgot that started in 99.
Yeah, it's been around since forever ago.
It's just always been on.
We're 1,000,000 years old.
Oh my God. And she's like, "Yep, I know you did." And he's like, "I mean, I went through your stuff to find the info, and I'm really sorry." He goes, "Yep, I know you did."
Yeah. I did this because you're in my tent now. You know what happens in tents now.
We know what happens in tents. And
I've decided that that's what happens after we leave.
I'm fully unassuming that. Actually, can I say, I'm not assuming it happens in the tent. Because she's like, "Yep, I saw you, and you were not good about sneaking in, and I sort of wanted you to find it, and also a little annoyed that you betrayed me so quickly, but also I would have just come out and told you, but I was kind of afraid because taking Tritonin is a privilege on this planet that can be revoked at any time, and amongst the hardcore flirting, they talk about going to translate things in the temple."
Oh, in the temple, guys?
That's dark and isolated.
My goodness, in the temple? I mean, there are candles probably.
To be
in
fair,
the temple.
That would turn both of them on.
That's true. That's very true.
Yes.
And amongst all the books that Jonas has absorbed, I'm sure
I can see them
The Art of Sex
in the like also translating things at the same time.
That's very kinky.
But you can see it.
Yes. Go both of you guys.
I'm completely assuming that happens after this scene.
I'm okay with it. As long as everybody's happy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
no judgment. I mean, a little bit of judgment, but no judgment.
No judgments, man. They are both consenting adults who are into it. It's good. So next thing we know, Malik and Kelma are standing over our coma guard. And even they're confused because it's a full-grown adult and he has no identity. Well, full-grown adult symbiote. Cool.
Right. It doesn't know, and it's a blank disc.
It's a blank, yeah. So maybe the queen wasn't able to pass on the genetic memory, or maybe she didn't want to, because apparently a queen passes that on voluntarily. And if nothing is, sorry. Currently, Kaylee has a treat, a Kong with treats in it that she has been throwing around. If you're watching the video of this, you've probably seen her throwing this thing back and forth.
She's just
on the recording or not.
We're okay.
It's quite amazing. Anyway, so nothing is passed on from the queen. Then all the symbiotes are empty vessels.
Yeah. She's basically like a broken printer.
Yes.
There's no cyan coming through.
I was gonna just more like a wiped hard drive.
Yeah.
But broken printer works too.
I like it.
So they could remove it without hurting the host, but it would be dangerous. I'm like, haven't you done that like multiple times already on the series before? Yeah. Isn't that the reason we go to the Tok'ra?
Well, we know how to remove the Tok'ra are very moody. Sometimes they care about things and sometimes they don't. To me, it seems they so easily are like, oh, it's fine that they're doing this. Yeah. It's totally fine.
But again, we've heard it before. They find it, they don't see themselves as the same even species almost as the ghoul. Yeah. It's a complete, like they don't even regard anything as being the same between them and the ghoul. Fair. And that comes clearly in play in a short bit. But they want to see the queen instead. Got it. So they do. And apparently she's very old. She's been kept in a tank like this for decades because apparently they started 50 years ago using her for medical experiments before they started a breeding program like 30 ago.
Always a good thing. Always. Let's just... Okay, I'm done.
And then my favorite is Jack's like, well, I mean, how does she make the little baby snakes without like a man friend?
Yeah. Where's the boy snake?
Has he never seen Jurassic Park? Life finds a way.
Well, it's Jack. Even if he has, he's like, no, I still don't get it.
Yeah, I still don't. We've cross-pollinated the Gould Queen with reptile genes.
Yeah.
Malik says it's an asexual
from Amber.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Says it's an asexual process, and then Jack just figures that must be why they take hosts. But and gets a look from everyone.
Hey, I'm with Jack on this one. It's like, wow, now you know what you're missing out.
Exactly. Yeah. Why, of course you'd want a host.
Yeah.
So Kelma,
no wonder you're so frustrated and have no sense of humor.
Exactly. Kelma is just impressed that these primitive humans could have made such a drug. And Jack's like, I mean, doesn't using the Gould Queen like this offend you in any way? And now it's like, nope.
Yeah, just like absolutely no scruples, but no moral issues at all. Just get it done. Whatever you got to do, just do it.
Like the ghoul have been done so much worse for humans for centuries. It's nice to have the tables returned. They reap what they sow.
No!
I mean, if they benefit the Fagarans, at least there's some use to the Gould here. And Kelma is pretty sure that the reason her symbiotes have no memories is because the queen is dying.
Yeah.
But yeah, Malik is like, Gould deserves this, basically.
I mean, if I were trapped for 50 years, I'd be like, how do I kill myself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Sam and Jack get jammins on the phone.
Yes. And we do get, I love that we get a little jammin cameo.
We do get a jammin cameo. And Janet's like, no, Tritonin bad.
Yeah, no, do it. Bad things.
It acts like a symbiote that literally takes over their immune system.
It's just the opioid crisis all over again.
It is. Yeah. And those who take it, yeah, they're resistant to disease, but it's not permanent. Like the lack of immune system is, you always have lack of immune system, but you don't have the protection from the disease.
You're fucked.
You're fucked. And if the queen's dying, and they can't find another way to get symbiotes, and everyone who's living off Tritonin is going to be dead. because Janet knows of no ways currently to reverse the drug's effects.
Yeah, this is not good. Basically, you're just creating a dependency. This would never happen in real life.
No. Never.
Okay, good.
Literally the opioid crisis.
Yeah.
And which is interesting.
This is just science fiction. Okay, I'm done.
Which again, there's a really other podcast pimping. If you don't listen to Science Versus, they actually have a really great, like they have a two-part episode about the opioid crisis, and the first one actually talks about like how the opioid crisis started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you need a palate cleanser after that, the Dollabustle does one.
Oh, really?
On how the opioid crisis started, but it's probably a lot lighter.
Actually, no, Science Versus is fairly light. If you haven't listened to them,
okay.
She's like the host is like the most adorable Australian woman you've ever met in your life, and there are a lot of light moments in them.
Yeah.
It's a fun little podcast.
I dig it.
Anyway, interesting point. So when you get a symbiote as a host, like as a legit host, it doesn't take over your immune system. But if you get it, if you're an incubator, it does take over your immune system.
Like the way Teal'c has it.
Yeah, because you still heal if you have it as a host. If you're either a host,
its job is not to do that. Its job is just to share your body.
Yeah, I just found that interesting that like the Tok'ra have not taken over their host's immune systems.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. And they seem to have the option not to, because it's so there's a difference between living. I forget what the word is, the biology, a biological term, but to share a living space versus becoming a parasite in it.
Yeah. So I
imagine it's symbiosis.
Probably.
Is it like that? Or
yeah, it was more of just I've really sort of connected with that in this one. That's like. Yeah, Teal'c at this point has no immune system besides Junior.
Right.
But like
Junior's essentially taken over like a parasite.
And I'm saying like it's something with there must not like obviously not a blood-brain barrier, but there must be something that's a much more akin to like a developing fetus in the womb in terms of how maybe there's like a blood connection that's shared or something.
Yeah.
Even.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Too much science for my brain, but it is interesting.
Yeah, it just sort of, I think it's occurred to me before, but this was one of the times where it really sort of stood out to me that Malik still has an immune system.
That's true.
That can act on his own. Malik can leave his host's body and that host will be fine.
Yes.
So, anyways, I just found that an interesting little point. So, Jack, Sam, Dolan, and Tagar are chatting in the conference room again, and clearly the reason they wanted the addresses to the danger zone planets is to get Lana!
Danger
zone. There's an ocelot next door as well.
It remembers me. Okay, I'm done.
There is a Stargate joke in Archer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a couple. Oh, I just broke a thing.
You didn't break a thing. They're magnets.
I'm going to fix it.
Grace is playing with my magnets that
I
keep
don't know
on my
how to
work
sit
desk.
still because I'm 4 years old. And so I keep picking up shit to play with.
Well, this stays on my desk, so to do that with. Like, this is my desk play toy, which they apparently can't sell anymore because kids were swallowing them.
You can eat the little balls.
Yeah.
Don't eat it.
Anyway, so, and we get the history now of how they got this queen and how they got this far. So 60 years ago, they found a chamber beneath the temple, and they found a canopic jar in it that had a female symbiote in stasis. And I guess they found out as a female when it started popping up baby snakes, because it's kind of hard to tell a male and female symbiote.
It's like when you have a goldfish and you're like, oh, where do these? Oh, it's a girl.
Do like the girls like have an extra frill or something?
Yeah.
Like how?
Yeah.
And if you don't have a male to compare to,
I guess the male would be the one with the extra frill usually in nature, right?
I guess. But again, also, how do you know it's a girl just because it's having baby snakes? It could be like a seahorse situation.
It's just been carrying the baby snakes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're making a lot of assumptions here.
Seriously.
That it is a female symbiote.
Don't put your rules on me.
Exactly.
People.
Don't gender before you can have some confirmation. Ask the snake whether it's a girl.
Maybe if you check with it, it'll tell you.
Anyway, so other parts of the temple translations talk about how the Gould never suffered from illness or disease. They figured out well, maybe we'll see how it does. We have this thing now. Let's experiment on it, which they started doing after the queen gave birth. As you do, experiments on newborns.
Sure, yeah, that's
the hell?
Totally not cruel. Totally not a cruel thing to do.
Which is why I get the feeling that in this society, they do not give sort of being sentient associations to anything that is not humanoid.
Yeah, there's just, it feels very callous, but if you don't know better, you don't know better.
Well, I mean, I think they would think the same way, you know, anything, it's the same way they treat any animals on their planet too.
Yeah.
You know, they don't think of any other animals besides the humans as being sentient and having, you know, I don't know how you can't tell an animal has pain receptors, but they Seriously. Just, like, they don't, I have a hunch that this may be something that is
specific to how they work?
Specific how they work, but something that applies to every animal on their planet that is not human.
Yeah. Not cool with this.
Yeah.
Where's your compassion?
And eventually they come up with Tritonin, which is why I don't really have, as a horrible person as it is, I don't have a ton of compassion for the Pangarans. So I was like, you were experimenting on the living being.
Yeah, they kind of don't have any, it's hard to give compassion where there's none being got.
Yes. If we could refine the drug at a later point, it wouldn't be a big deal. Why can't we reap the benefits of this new drug while we work on fixing it?
Sure.
And at this point, they've run out of time. They have no other choice but to take on the Gould and get a new queen, or tens of thousands of lives would be lost on the planet when there's no more Tritonin to go around.
You know what? Maybe you shouldn't have fucking done this.
Yeah, maybe you shouldn't have tortured creatures that are intelligent.
Maybe don't use resources that you can't replace.
Yeah. Maybe.
Long pause.
Take a drink. And they're like, well, maybe you guys can help us.
No.
Awesome SG-1 people. You're so big and strong and have beaten the Gould before. And Jack's like, no. The reason we're still alive is because we don't just engage them. We don't bite off more than we can chew usually.
Except sometimes.
Except those times.
Except sometimes we try to blow up the sun. But whatever.
That was successful.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Sam's like, well, the better option is to not necessarily find more resources, but to get off Tritonin.
How about let's do that?
Back down the tube, Jonas and Teal'c are helping Xena with more translations. And Jonas can tell this is very important to her. Mm-hmm. And she's like, well, yeah, it's been my whole life. You know, not only has it been her whole life, but it is her life at stake.
I am going to put something else out there that's not, well, it is about this moment, but it's not about what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm done with the father archaeologist trope.
Yeah.
Why can't this just be something that she fucking wanted to do?
Yeah, I know.
Let's not be like, my father taught me. My father doesn't always have to be the reason that you like a thing that's typically considered male.
Yes.
Maybe you just fucking like it.
I agree.
Like baseball.
We do get on that here, though.
Maybe I just take it personally because people are like, oh, is your dad a baseball fan? It's like, no. I am a baseball fan. The end.
To be fair, I am into space because my dad was, but my mom wasn't too. So
I mean, it doesn't, all I'm saying is it doesn't
I agree.
Be hinged on some male thing.
I completely agree.
I'm getting off my soapbox now.
Yes. I think it does. I thought it would have been, to be fair, it would have been cool if it was like, well, my mother discovered it.
Sure, that works too.
I do like the fact that...
Or my parents.
Yeah. Much like Daniel.
Right.
I do like the fact that this hasn't just been her career, that this, like, she was, like Catherine was at the site as a young kid.
And I get the message is that this is a legacy thing. It's not just about a job.
Yes. But yeah, if they run out of Tritonin, she's going to start to die along with everyone else.
Yeah.
And yeah, it does. She still wants to hope to find a new queen, and not necessarily as a long-term situation, but at least until they can find another option. And we do find out that her dad's the one that discovered the jar that held the queen. Mm-hmm. And at some point, Teal'c gives this eyebrow, almost like, "Would you like me to leave? Are you going to,
dude?
Just
say the code word."
Yeah,
bananas.
Do you have
bananas?
Bananas is the code word. As they continue studying the walls, Jonas, just kind of from across the room, sees this reference to Ra. And I love when Xena asks who Ra is. Teal'c is like, puffs up his chest and is like, yeah, Another dude be dead.
Oh, just a dead dude. No big deal.
And the wall reads, according to Jonas, that Ra used to live here.
Mm-hmm.
So back in the Slurm factory, the Tok'ra explained to Jack and Sam that the odds of perfecting an antidote to Tritonin is slim to none.
Yeah.
We can't even perfect the Tritonin. We have no clue how to get their immune systems back. Time-wise, we could maybe find an answer. And since the Tok'ra and the Ta'ri dead, we'll begin working on it, but this is a long shot.
Yeah, basically you guys fucked up. And maybe we can help you, but who knows?
Yeah.
And the plot's about to thicken.
And we're only helping you because we owe a debt to the Ta'ri.
Yeah.
So we're going to try real hard to help you.
Yeah, we're super trying right now.
Back
we
in
could be trying. Oh, I missed it.
Back in the temple, moments after we left, Teal'c guesses that maybe Shukran took the world from Ra, and the temple that they're standing in now was built on top of Ra temples.
Mm-hmm.
Ra's temples? Ra's temple.
Ra temples. Ra temples. It sounds like a food. What's a Ra temple?
A Ra temple.
Are they noodles?
I think a Ra temple would be deep fried.
Oh, yes.
Now, I don't know what it is. Maybe like
deep fried noodles. No, that's terrible.
I'm actually thinking like something along the lines of deep fried avocados.
I could be down for that. That sounds good now.
Uh-huh. Maybe like wrapped in something, then deep fried?
Yes.
So
breading.
Jonas keeps translating, and this was a prison or a tomb for one of Ra's enemies. And he continues translating, quote, "Here lies Egeria, betrayer of the Gould. May she suffer for all eternity."
Ew.
And you can literally see the oh shit go across Teal'c's face. Yeah. Kaylee agrees. You literally see the oh shit go across Teal'c's face.
Yeah.
Jonas is like, wasn't Egeria supposed to be dead and killed? More importantly, that means the queen the Pagarans have slowly been torturing is not a Gould. She is the founder of the Tok'ra.
Guys, we captured the wrong people. She's the man in the iron mask. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah. So Egeria, the OG Tok'ra, if you will.
Yeah.
She's the one who stopped humans on Earth from being slaves, which is why Earth is sort of got to grow up and be the humans that we are today.
The Ta'ri of today.
So we owe her a lot. She used to be Ra's paramour, if you will.
Yeah.
And she started being like, I don't know if we're doing the right thing, guys.
Is that where the name comes from? Like, is Tok'ra meaning, like, against Ra?
It is. Tok'ra literally means against Ra, yeah.
I totally get that.
Like, the first time we met the Tok'ra, yeah.
Or maybe I just knew it in the back of my
brain. You knew it in the back of your head.
Okay. Good job, Grace.
And she started to imprint her kids with the idea that hosts should be willing instead of just taken.
Aww,
and those kids are the Tok'ra that we know today, because I don't think they've had any other queens. That's why they have such a risk of extinction, is because they don't have any more, like, and so this is the part I'm not 100% sure about the whole, like, is it sort of a worker bee situation where they're all worker bees and she was the only queen bee. Yeah.
So that makes sense. So they yet to reproduce.
Yeah, they haven't. So the Tok'ra, we have to say, are literally the ones, like, Egeria is their mother.
Yeah.
Is their creator, and that's why they're running since they can't make more Tok'ra.
Yeah. No, I wonder why. Is it just because they've all been built to be worker bees?
Because there's no other gold queen who's going to be going, I don't think we're
turn someone else.
Yes, they'd have to have another gold queen that's willing to, implant that in their kids.
Got it.
So Egeria in myth was a nymph and a goddess of fountains and birth in Roman history. And I think we covered this back when we first heard about her name at Crossroads, I think. But I have a short-term memory, so I just figured I'd do a brief thing again.
I like it.
Her name ended up becoming an eponym.
Eponymous.
Thank you. It's a word that doesn't sound like that written.
Well, it looks like eponym.
I know, which is why I said eponym.
Yeah, but it should be eponymous. MOUS.
Well, maybe I just typed it wrong.
SE.
Anyways, her name became the word for a female counselor, since she was the consort and advisor for Numa
Pompilius.
Yes. Who was the second king of Rome.
This is fun. Give me more.
And she has this fountain in a sacred area outside Rome that was only for the Vestal virgins.
Is it still there?
Part of it is, yeah. You can go, and I forget what part of it, but there is some part of this area that is still there. Yes.
So, when we went to Rome, I knew some things, but I did not know a lot of things.
You've learned so much more now.
So I've learned a lot of things. So there's things that I saw that I was like, oh, I've been to that.
I did the same thing in Scotland.
It makes you feel a little bit like a piece of shit.
I know,
but that only means I have to go back.
Clearly,
yeah.
And this is where King Numa came and hung out with her. And there's this beautiful painting that I did recognize from our history class that I did. Well,
because it wasn't a date; it was a picture.
It was a picture called "Nymphageria Dictates Laws of Rome," and it's this really cool. It's by here. You pronounce that.
Ulpiano Checa.
Thank you. He was Spanish. He does again, awesome artist. All stuff is cool. But this one I clearly remember he's like bent over writing things and she's just standing there like naked in her glory.
Amazing naked
like lady. Underneath this waterfall just going, look at me.
Yeah. Enough of your paperwork. I am essentially the equivalent of wrapping myself in bubble wrap. Yeah.
And yeah, she was gifted with the wisdom of prophecy and wisdom. You know
why? Because whoever gifted her was drunk, because all the old gods were drunk. They're like, I give you the wisdom of prophecy and wisdom.
I was like, I don't know what sense
I'm say. Here so I can keep drinking and fucking.
Basically. That's all the Greek gods did.
Yeah.
And she would gift out prophecies. I'm failing right now. In exchange for milk. Like sacred cow milk.
I will take some sacred cow milk, and here is your prophecy. And it's like a little fortune cookie.
Yeah. Here's a fortune cookie.
Have a nice day.
So SG1 meets back up in the meeting room. Like, this could be a problem. The understatements of the century.
Yeah.
Sam's like, should we tell Malik and Kalna? And Jonas and Teal'c are like, yeah, probably.
That's when you see like their chaotic neutralness versus like just straight good, or like their lawful versus chaotic streaks. It's like, we could just fucking stay out of this one, right? And they're like, no,
because otherwise I'm going to kill Egeria.
Yeah.
And Sam's like, well, I mean, if we don't find him when we get off the drug, all the Megarians are going to die anyway.
So everything is fucked.
Jack does go, well, we do have to tell them. And I think Sam just is playing the devil's advocate part of this episode.
Sure, yeah.
And when they do tell them, they aren't happy. Second understatement of the century.
Weird how now it matters that they're doing this.
Again, mortal enemy of thousands of years. They don't see the gold.
Yeah, and I love the part too where they're like, "Oh, it's totally fine. We wouldn't change our minds with what we're doing, even though this is lies. Just stop talking. Just don't even say that."
Kalma says the Tok'ra historians had speculated, forever that Rod didn't actually kill Egeria, but they never hoped that she'd actually be found. And Malik wants her released now.
Yeah.
Every moment she's held in this condition is an affront to the Tok'ra. And Sam's like,
I know that they're symbiotes and they wouldn't recognize it, but I feel like somehow they should have known it was her when they were in the room. Just me talking. Like they should have been like, I feel a disturbance in the force. Egeria.
And Sam's like, we're gonna go talk to him now. I mean, if you had something to offer them, like an antidote, that'd be great. Probably go a long way. And they're like, yeah, about that. We're running into some problems.
We don't negotiate with people that steal our queen. Done.
Also, there's some weird genetic structures. The drug should work better than it currently is. And we don't know how to make it better. And we don't know how to fix it. And it's a mystery. And we can't help the Picarians. We just want our queen back.
And now we just really can't because we're so can't.
We can't help you, so you should give her back. And they go and negotiate with the Picarians. And there's no way the Begiras could have known this.
Okay, but they still did the thing.
They still did the thing. Also, the Tok'ra who want her released immediately. Tegar's like, that would kill a huge part of our population. Tok'ra don't care.
Yeah.
And
the only reason you have any of your population at this point is because of her. So fuck you.
Well, no, to be fair, they would still have their population.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have lost. They actually.
They did this to themselves.
They did this partly as they did this themselves.
I like, as much as I dig on the Tok'ra, I'd be like, fuck off, this is ours. I don't even think I'd ask this nicely.
And there's also the whole point of like, yeah, you might lose, tens of thousands of people, but the Tok'ra, this is their only hope for non-extinction.
Literally extinction, yeah.
Literally extinction level event. And Dolan's like, well, have you made any progress in giving us an antidote? Crickets.
I would have been like, bitch, please, I don't have to give you shit.
Crickets.
Give me back my queen.
Yeah. So the conversation moves to the lab. And Tegar is like, no, you can't have her. And Malik's like, yeah, we're going to take her.
Yeah.
Basically, there's no negotiation going on. And Dolan and Tegar really regret the situation, but like, we can't free her because all of our people would die. So unless you have the antidote, we're kind of stuck. And the Tok'ra don't give no shits because we can't make you an antidote.
This is just what it is now. Yeah.
Basically the genetic structure of the symbiotes is fucked and we can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So rock hard place, basically.
Yeah.
And again, Malik points out, we will literally be extinct. You're just gonna lose some people.
Deal with it. Yeah.
So sometime later, we are inside Egeria's tank room, looking through. It's actually the same time this conversation's going on. Looking through the disgusting water, and you hear a zap blast outside, and Kelma opens the door and approaches the tank with reverence. And you have a great music cue.
Yeah, this is good stuff.
And this is where you're like, oh yeah, Kelma was not in the room in the other scene.
Good call with your stealth moves, getting out of there.
So the conversation in the other room continues. No ground is made. Malik is, suddenly insulted that a sentient being would be used in this manner, which is not how he...
All of a sudden it fucking matters.
Which is not how he felt at all when it was a gold queen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and then they get an alert that security was breached. And when they get there, Kelma is unconscious on the ground with her symbiotes. Well, Kelma
is
dead.
On the ground dead.
Again,
host.
For these people who are we have equal, we have this equal balance between between the host and the Gould. We never learn the host name in this.
That's true. We just know her as Kelma.
We only know the Gould's name.
Yeah.
Anyways, Kelma gave her life
name.
So that her host could be the host to Egeria.
Follow that.
I have some major questions here because that queen was fucking huge. Did she split from her egg sac?
Yeah. Where's the rest of her?
Is there just
I know, I thought that too. I was like, that's not...
Is there just leftovers in the tank?
There's leftovers just coursing through what's-her-name's body. She's gonna poop her out later.
It's so disgusting. So disgusting.
I gross myself out.
Yeah. So Jack is very interested in the microscope he's looking into. And Jack's like, well, maybe they actually do have a cure and they're holding it out to get what they want. Yeah. Which makes no sense because giving them the cure would give them the queen.
Right. They wouldn't hold it back. What more do they want to leverage? All they want is the queen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all the other people want is a cure.
Yeah, there's no more to haggle or more to...
And Sam disagreed, but Jack's like, well, they're pissed off. And Sam's like, well, yeah, they are pissed off, and they have good rights to be pissed off. And to Jack, for all their fancy moral high grounds and coexisting with humans, quote unquote, we're just a nice place to live for them.
Ding, ding, ding.
Which is completely kind of sort of accurate.
I'm with Jack on this one.
And Sam doesn't like that they would lie and doom thousands of, the idea that they would lie and doom thousands of innocent lives. And Jack's like, that's literally what Egeria just did.
Yeah.
Because now they're fucked and they don't have a cure and they don't have more symbiotes. Yep. And we find out that Egeria is now awake.
Ta-da!
So Malik is kneeling in front of Egeria with great honor, and Egeria's like, stand up.
Don't be a douche.
Kelma gave her life to free Egeria, but it was too late. She was right like, I'm dying. And, she's like, I learned what the Tok'ra have become from the host, which still has no name. And she's very proud of her children and that she gets the full history. And, Malik introduces the Ta'ri. And Ejiri was told that the Ta'ri still hope that the Pangerans, can live on, that we can help them despite what they did to her. Seems like, look, it was a shitty mistake, but it wasn't done maliciously.
But it's still
sort of
you mess with nature.
And you tortured.
And you shall atone.
Yes. Except for, again, the whole testing thing, it was... anyways.
Yeah, it's not good time.
It's not.
It's really not. It's all of this is real shitty.
And Egeria says that her act wasn't malicious either, which we don't find out what that is yet. First, we go back out to the dig site. And Jonas goes and sits with Xena, who's deep in thought. And Jonas tells the story of why he left his world. And he tries to make the equations of, he left. They were trying to create a bomb to destroy things. At least the Pangerans had good intentions in trying to cure their people and prevent disease.
Yeah, they compare like emo homeworld.
Basically,
yeah. Compare notes.
And Xena fears that.
And then they do it again.
They do it again. Doing it. And Xena fears, she's like, look, I don't care if I die. My main fear is that my people still have learned nothing. And Jonas is like, no, but I think they've already learned something. And Xena goes, you're too much of a goddamn optimist if you actually think that
okay,
shit.
Fine, you're the sunshine, you're one of us.
God, you win.
You're a little bit annoying now.
Back with Ejiri, we learned what she meant. She passed on the flawed gene that prevents them creating an antidote. She purposely sabotaged her offspring, hoping that they would prove useless.
Yeah.
Because she was hoping that the Pangerans would stop their research when they discovered that point.
Yeah, no
but
shit.
No,
they dumb.
Yeah. They just kept keeping on. And then being dependent on this drug is not what she intended it to be.
Right.
Malik's like, well, it's their fault, not yours. Kind of true.
Yeah.
But Ejiri says that they don't deserve to die, not when it can be prevented. Because Ejiri created the flaw, she does know how to fix it.
It feels like an easy answer, but fine.
Yeah. We have to end the episode in 40
Gotta
minutes
wrap it up, yeah.
And I do get the feel that Dolan actually is sincere here when he thanks her and asks for forgiveness.
Yeah, but I wonder if they've learned their lesson.
Now, whether they've learned their lesson, I don't know. But I think
if we came back in a year, they'd have got another fucking gold.
See, and that's the part where I don't know. I think it would be more of the planet sort of split into two different camps. Mm-hmm. You would have the camp where it's like, no, we need to, our health and we need to live. And, the Ghoul are bad guys, and this is just what we do. And then the other half might have actually learned from this. I think Xena and I think Dolan may have actually gone like, hey, we can't do this to sentient creatures. And there might be on the side of, let's find an actual good queen just to kind of what Xena was trying to do, to be the short-term goal, and we honestly are working on a solution to this to get us off this.
Stop. Yeah.
I do think they're like...
stop using it for new children.
Yeah. And Ejiri, I get the feel, is sort of annoyed she has to do this, but I do think she's going to die proving a point, basically. Yep. This will be her last act, and she wants, the Tok'ra spirits, and her legacy is going to live on because she is saving the people that essentially killed her. Mm-hmm. And at some point later, her body is taken through the Stargate by some Tok'ra, and man, there are some epic music cues in this episode, because there's another one right here.
Yeah, this is a good little, like, ceremonial end to the things, and yeah, it's a bummer. It's a bummer that she's dead, because she's, like, the one real Tok'ra, like, the true...
The OG.
Yeah.
Malik's going to have a prototype for the antidote ready soon, and even Tagar here sort of softened. He's grateful for everyone's efforts, and Dolan hopes that they can overcome any distrust they develop between the peoples, and they can start fresh, so they can have an actual long-lasting friendship between them.
Yeah, it might be a while. It's not going to happen right away.
It might be a little bit.
I'm a little mad at them, but fuck it.
Yeah. And then Sam dials home with Fade to Black.
Yeah. Ta-da! I like that ending. That it was interesting. Little just the DHD.
Yeah.
A nice
just
little,
focus on the DHD.
It's all me now. Here's my big moment.
It's my shining moment.
So that was kind of fun. This episode's heavy.
It's very very heavy, and it's very, you don't know what side to cheer for.
Or you just don't cheer.
Yeah, like, you just don't cheer.
You cheer for Jonas and Teal'c.
I basically
hooking up. That's what I cheer for.
It's like the one bright spot in the episode.
Yeah. So we have 2 more Indeeds, right?
We have 2 more Indeeds to add to the list. We're going to start rich. I'm going to, it's a good point. I haven't been able to do my due diligence to go back and check. I'm actually going to double check that this number is correct when I have the time in a couple weeks. I'm actually going to go through, there's transcripts that other people have helpfully written for all these episodes that I use. So
you're not just going to watch all the episodes?
Yeah, I'm going to watch all the episodes.
All 120 episodes.
So I'm actually going to go through and do some searching and make sure I have all the Indeeds.
Boom, I like it.
That will not happen for next week. It will happen like in a month.
Yeah, eventually.
When I'm done with the move. And yeah, so does this go on your list at all? Because I'll be honest, it doesn't go on my list.
I was trying to think if there's anything I needed to bump off, but the last one on there is Allegiance, and Allegiance is which one again?
The last episode,
the one we just did, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah, there's too many. Because I can't come on the side to actually root for in this episode. It's really hard.
It was one of those where if I had a throwaway episode to pull off there, then I was gonna let it on. But I don't. I like all the episodes I have on there for now. Yeah.
So next up is Prometheus. Mm-hmm. Which I think there's a couple elements that you're really going to enjoy in this episode.
Oh boy. Mm-hmm. Is Fassbender in it? I'm making fun of the Prometheus movie. Thank goodness. Ultimately, it's a good thing, as much as I like him.
It's just him and them. It's just the movie. It's not him.
I know. It's silly. I'm ready. Let's do it. Prometheus, there's going to be a lot of fire involved. The end. Gotta go back. No.
Okay, you can find us. Oh, wait. Sorry.
That's okay.
We had a couple new patrons.
We got new patrons to say thank you to.
Pardon me as I look these up because I forgot to look it up earlier.
Nixie is going to look them up, and while she looks them up, I will give you guys all our tags. So on Twitter.
Oh, no, I already have it.
Oh, just kidding.
Thank you to Matt Leach.
Thank you to Tom Petrie.
Yep.
And we love you guys. You know where to find us. I got really distracted because the Google Doodle showed up. And it's Maria Felix, who I really love.
Again, this is the difference. I read that going Maria Felix.
It's Maria Felix, dude. She's like the Betty Davis, the Joan Crawford, the Catherine Hepburn, all rolled into one.
No, she's freaking gorgeous.
Yeah, she's amazing. She's goals. Anyway, on Twitter, we're at Terra Podcast.
On Facebook, we're at There's No Place Like Terra.
You can email us at theresnoplaceliketerra@gmail.com.
And you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/theresnoplaceliketerra.
We love you guys. We'll see you next week with Prometheus.
Actually, I was going to say real quick before we go, so for patrons, you will know that we've started doing, and we mentioned this last episode, started doing video casts, and it's just basically we record videos of us doing this podcast.
Yeah.
And it was the Patreon goal. And we're still right now sort of working with the equipment that we have. We don't necessarily have yet any specific video equipment.
Yes, please excuse our growth.
We're growing. We didn't want to wait till we have the right stuff to give you videos. But we had a poll for our patrons, basically to see, because they're the ones, we love our patrons, and they are the ones that got us to this goal of being the video casts. So what we did is we actually ran a poll on whether our patrons wanted us to keep these videos as Patreon exclusive, so that, it only takes $1 a month to become a patron, and there's a bunch of fun stuff. We haven't done as many tangent casts on there as we normally do, but again, it's a crazy month, so we're trying to get stuff up there, but it's just not quite as much as we normally do.
We're getting through it. We're gonna.
It picks up real soon, guys. I promise. Anyways, but we put a poll on there whether these videos would stay as Patreon exclusives, or if we
share with the world, then
we share with the world. They're basically, so our videos are going to be Patreon. The video versions of these podcasts will be Patreon exclusives for a month, and then will be released for the public over on YouTube.
Ta-da! So once we get that going, we'll share the YouTube channel with you guys. Until then, we'll see you with fire. Prometheus.
Yes, Prometheus fire.
And I'm just going to decide that it's about fire. I really hope I have my Greek reference right.
I think so.
Okay.
Because
bye, guys.
Anyways, bye! And wait, done. Stop. Okay. And now we're going to say goodbye to you guys on the video recording. Bye!
Ooh, it was long.